Hello and welcome to In the Know, a program that helps you to stay informed. Joining me today, as in programs past, is Patrick McDermott. He is the Sheriff of Norfolk County. Patrick, welcome back to QATV and basically to welcome back to the entire county, because programs that are recorded here do play throughout the county.
Which is a great service by Quincy Access Television to get the word out around the county, and I'm glad that I'm here in this studio in my home base, but I'm looking forward to sharing the news that we have this month with the rest of the viewers throughout the county. So it's great. Thanks, Mark.
And I'm glad to have the opportunity to interview you. The topic for today, or the focus of today, is the importance of giving back. And we're going to start first with a series of photographs that were taken on Veterans Day throughout Norfolk County. Certainly veterans know all about giving back.
Absolutely. And many of our veterans gave their time, of some of them to the ultimate sacrifice of their life, in service to freedom for our country. And as I said, we begin November as a solemn opportunity to salute our veterans. And I'm the son of a World War II veteran. My dad was a Navy pharmacist mate first class over in the Pacific in World War II. And my father was very proud of his service and didn't talk a lot about the war until later in life. But joined when he was 17, like many of the greatest generation did, as soon as they knew that we were in a conflict over in Europe and in the Pacific, signed up by the droves to support freedom. And that same attitude continued in all the wars, Korea and Vietnam and Afghanistan, Iraq, and right up to the present day. And that's something that I take very seriously. And when I talk to veterans around the county, it's a personal thing to me because of the service that my dad did, and he had 6 of his brothers who also served, 5 of them total in World War II, 1 in Vietnam. And unlike the tragedies that unfolded in many wars, all my uncles came home, including my dad. So we're very grateful, and that's why I go out and speak on Veterans Day's events, because when I look in the eyes of a veteran, there's a little bit of my dad that I see in each and every one of them.
We should mention, as folks do see photographs, actually we're going to stop on Veterans Day in Dedham. There's a member of your staff handing out, I believe, files for life?
Yes. So Veterans Day, obviously, every community, thank God, every community does rally to have a Veterans Day celebration. I'd love to make them all, but I can't. And so we made like 5 or 6 of them this year. But one of my community outreach coordinators, Francis Olson, from Down County, down in Franklin, he stopped by at the Dedham's Veterans Day event. I think he might have hit a couple more, but we want to make sure that we hand out some of our programs that we typically do for seniors, but they're relevant for everybody. Is our File for Life program that has it's a red jacket with a magnet on it that you put on your refrigerator, that within that packet has all your any kind of medical issues that you have, medicines that you have, and it's basically there for in the event that you need a first responder to come into your house. They know to look on your refrigerator to evaluate very quickly what your medical situation is. So we give those away on Veterans Day, and anytime we go into a community event to make sure that everybody has that material ready to go just in case they need it.
Normally we wait till the end of the program to reveal the Norfolk County hero, but we've moved this gentleman up to the front of the program because we are talking about veterans, and this gentleman, John King, he provides rides for veterans.
Yeah, John is our most recent recipient of our Norfolk County Heroes Award. He's a Vietnam veteran who's been volunteering to provide rides to other veterans so that they can get to their medical appointments, go shopping, or sometimes it's as very simple as just needing somebody to have as a friend to drive around and chat. And I think it's great that he's been volunteering. He volunteers. He's a house necker, so he's right here in the city of Quincy. Very proud to be a necker, he's told me. And he served in Vietnam, but he came back to give back to his community. And as a retiree, he volunteers with the Norfolk County what's known as the RSVP program, which is run by our county commissioners. It's the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. So it's a program that's near and dear to my heart. I've been celebrating with them for the last 15, 20 years at their annual luncheon. I usually sing the national anthem for them. And John King is a prime example of an individual that's giving back. Some may say in a small way. I say it's in an enormous way, because the value that he provides to people on a day to every ride that he gives to somebody, I'm sure that the conversations are meaningful, and he provides a degree of a great deal of care with these people. So he's the kind of person that we look towards in giving out these Norfolk County Hero Awards, and we're looking forward to presenting it to him formally this Friday night at Gillette Stadium. So we're gonna celebrate John King, a Norfolk County hero, a great Vietnam veteran, and a great resident of the city of Quincy down in Howes Neck.
Next, congratulations to John. Thank you, John. Next, we're going to talk about a Memorial Peace Medal ceremony that you attended.
Yeah, this is run by the World War II Memorial Peace Organization out of Boston, and I had the privilege of honoring. This is all relating to they presented 3 medals to the officers in Braintree who heroically rushed into a situation which tragically ended in 2 officers being shot and the death of a canine kit in Braintree. So I had the privilege of honoring Officer Seibert of Braintree, Braintree police officer. He heroically answered the call to the line, to the duty on June 4th, when his fast thinking and quick actions saved the lives of the 2 fellow officers. Braintree Police Chief Mark Du Bois has determined that Officer Seibert's timely application of his field training during that June 4th emergency and administering CPR, and he applied a tourniquet, saved his fellow officers, Officer Matt Donahue and Bill Cushing, who is pictured here with Officer Donahue in the middle there, and Officer Cushing in the to the right there. Ironically enough, Bill Cushing, he's a proud graduate of the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. He started his career with us, became a canine officer in Braintree, and tragically lost his partner that day when they went in after a domestic call, which anytime police officers, there's no such thing as a routine call. When a call comes in and police officers respond, you don't know what you're going into, and on that particular day, sadly, the perpetrator fled into a wooded area where the officers pursued him. Unfortunately, he lay in wait with a gun and did shoot at the officers, and like I said, tragically killing Canine Kit. So we remember in a special way on Veterans Day that World War II Memorial Peace Medal awarded to those 3 gentlemen.
Holiday happenings, a weekly holiday festival in Braintree.
So we're looking once again to give back as our holidays kick into full gear. Towards the end of the month, we'll be celebrating Thanksgiving, and then right thereafter, we wanted to give a little bit back. We have a great facility in Braintree that has historically been somewhat underutilized. It's typically the summer activity down at our youth leadership camp there, and I said this is too big, too much of a gem to not utilize for other purposes. So the staff came up with a great way, along with members of folks in the community in Braintree, about having a holiday happenings event that we're going to do 3 subsequent nights in December. And we're planning on having just a celebration of basically giving back. We're going to have arts and crafts for the kids. We're going to have hot cocoa and cookies and fun stuff. I think there'll be a visit by jolly old Saint Nick. There'll be caroling and the like. So we just wanted an opportunity to celebrate and give a little back to the community of Braintree that gives us the opportunity to do what we need to do in that community. So it'll certainly be open to all the residents of Norfolk County, those who want to travel. But there's getting some creativity down. There's going to be some lights that are going to be going up. So it'll be kind of nice. It'll be a nice little celebration to kind of kick off the holiday season and a way to give back. And we'll probably request a little something if people come by. We might say if you want to drop off some food for a local food pantry, that would be appropriate this time of the year.
We should mention that folks are still suffering because of the pandemic, so certainly food insecurity is an issue now, probably more than it's ever been.
Yeah, I remember saying at a program earlier this year, as we were coming out of the pandemic, one of the big thing, the rush during any kind of crisis situation, people jump in to help, which is fantastic. But we all recognize that this crisis, even though we're coming out of it from a medical or a health perspective, food insecurity is something that it's devastated many families. We'll see it in a couple of weeks right here in Quincy with the Interfaith Social Services. I know that they do a great job every Thanksgiving, making sure that families don't go hungry at least that particular time of the year. But we need to consistently making sure that our food pantries are stocked, and that's why the Sheriff's Office has partnered up with numerous communities throughout Norfolk County. In a general way, we've partnered up with the Norfolk County Central Labor Council as well as the United Way to make sure that throughout the county that we're delivering food to food pantries. And then on the local level, we partner up in various towns. Certainly here in the city of Quincy and town of Randolph, we recently did an event, and also in Braintree at the Marge Crispin Center as well. So.
And I believe we do have a photo from Pack the Pantry, which was a 5K to benefit, again, the pantry. And I think this was this the Randolph?
This
location?
was Randolph, correct, yes. So we had, just this past weekend, and there's a picture of, so we have 15 of our newest recruits who are set to graduate this Friday night at Gillette. And part of their routine is that and today, I believe, and I didn't get the message yet today, but today was their final PT test to make sure that they qualify so that they can get to graduation. So this was a final test for them on the Randolph 5K to run that. They ran it as a team, and part of the effort was a local group in Randolph who started a running group wanted to give back, and this is the kind of things that we want to encourage in the community. So they took running to the next level, said, what can we do to give back to the community? So they started a 5K road race. They've been doing it for a couple of years now, and it goes to the Friendly Food Pantry in Randolph. So all of the Norfolk County Sheriff's recruits, as well as the office itself, we bundled a bunch of food together. We brought it to the race. It was an unbelievable turnout. Our crew did a great job running. They look very fit and ready to go. So I think they're going to pass their test today, and we look forward to seeing them graduate Friday night. But one of the things I mentioned to them when I talked to them before the race, I said, as new recruits, we have actually, this is a statistic which is kind of interesting, almost 45%, nearly half of our staff are less than 3 years on the job at the Norfolk Sheriff's Office. And so one of the things we want to instill in all of our newer employees is that sense of community, that we are there not just within the four walls of the facility in Dedham. We need to be out in the community working to make sure, whether it's food insecurity, economic insecurity, climate change issues, crisis management issues, that we're out in the community giving back consistently. And we have a lot of programming yet to be scheduled for next year in 2022 that's in the works now, that's really going to encourage our workforce to give back. But this particular time of the year, it's food pantries. We're going to be organizing some blood drives, another issue that's been critical in the pandemic, the need for blood. I encourage anybody that's listening, don't wait for us to coordinate it. Call up the Red Cross, call up your local blood bank, donate blood if you're eligible to do so. We're also involved with the Salvation Army, and certainly going into the month of December, this is kind of their important time of the year with ringing the bell. One of our Director of External Affairs, Dan Manning, is on the board here locally in Quincy, and I'm sure that we'll have an assignment going out with our crew. And I'm going to make sure, if we take a volunteer position, that we'll will man the kettle for Salvation Army. I know I'm already on the hook twice with the Quincy Rotary Club, and then Bob Bosworth has me going with the Quincy Sun out in front of City Hall. But I've never said no to the Salvation Army. I think it's a great cause. They raise, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars for families in crisis, and this is the time of the year to step up. There is a lot of money going around with people. I think the economy is turning around. We're hoping that people give back generously, especially to those that are in need this year.
Yes, the iconic red kettles.
The red kettles, got to have them.
I'm taking this out of order just because I wasn't paying attention. I was listening to you. I was paying attention in that regard. But going back to veterans, there is a program of the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office called Youth and Valor. Talk about that. We do have a photo to share as well.
Yeah, our Youth and Valor program, right now, it's a small program, but it's something, as I just witnessed it this year, it needs to be expanded because it brings high school students and veterans together. And it's a great, powerful lesson for both the veteran and for the student. About partnering up, and we did this at North Quincy High School. We had 5 students and 5 veterans. The students interviewed the veterans and then wrote an essay, and then made a presentation at a luncheon last week. And so I just want to make sure I read all the names of our students, who are fantastic. We had Colin McPherson, Sean Burns, Julia Gillespie, Dylan Clifford, and Nate Caldwell. They did a fantastic job, and it was an emotional day to watch these kids learn from these veterans, give a rundown of what their experiences were as veterans. The questions that were asked were unbelievable. One, would you do it all again? One veteran said, heck no, I wouldn't do it again. But he was right. It's interesting to get their perspective. But I want to also recognize our veterans that we did honor that day. Our Norfolk County hero was one of the veterans, John King. Richard Keene was a member of that group. Don Knight, who's a longtime friend of mine from Wollaston Hill. Dan Tinney was involved. And then my good friend Millie Cox. Millie is pictured here in the red jacket. Millie was in the Marine Corps back in World War II. So she's in her 90s right now.
She looks great.
And she looks fabulous. She is in great shape. She has a fantastic sense of humor. And I also was able to participate right before the pandemic. We hosted a book signing of a book called The Rifle. And it was authored by I think he's a retired or a former police officer, Biggio. And he came to the Rotary Club to have a book signing, a rifle signing of a World War II rifle. And he travels around the country and gathers stories from veterans. And he published this book. And he goes around and meets with World War II veterans and has them sign the rifle. And I was there when Millie Cox signed the rifle, as well as Bob Noble. So it was kind of cool to have that. And so Millie was great to be a participant in our Youth and Valor program. We're going to expand that program. My staff, I've already hinted at it, but no question about it, that one school event needs to be expanded to multiple schools around Norfolk County.
And we naturally thank every veteran for their service.
Yes.
Let's talk about Community Resources for Justice. This is a partnership.
Yes.
Talk about this, please.
So we have a partnership with CRJ as well as the Urban Institute. Right before I took office, during the pandemic, the Massachusetts Supreme Court ordered people held on pretrial. So they hadn't been convicted of a crime yet, but they've been held on pretrial for nonviolent offenses to be released. And that was back in April of 2020 because of the risks that COVID-19 in congregate care facilities posed. And that includes jails. So the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office took the opportunity, rather than just allow it to happen, we wanted to take an opportunity to study the impacts of pretrial release and the needs of those being held pretrial. So they're waiting trial. That's the vast majority of the population that is currently housed at the Norfolk County Correctional Facilities. They're still awaiting trial. A lot of these men have been there for quite a long time. Now that the trial courts have opened back up, they're getting back into it. But this particular study that we instituted, we received funding from what's known as the MacArthur Foundation's Safety and Justice Challenge Initiative Innovative Fund, and that partnered Community Resources for Justice, which is CRJ, with technical assistance from the Urban Institute to collect qualified and qualitative and quantitative data from us. So we basically looked at putting together combined surveys and a focus group from incarcerated people held pre-trial from January of 2020 through to April of 2021. And our findings actually came forth that I literally just got off the presentation just a half hour ago before I came here. It's really one of the reasons why I'm a little hoarse today, is all the chatting we were doing. But we found that the participants almost uniformly across the board felt that employment and financial stability were the two biggest concerns that they had when being released. And
Makes
that
sense,
access,
absolutely.
it is. Bottom line is access to employment, access to financial stability, realizing how they can manage finances and have finances to manage in the first place were the biggest things. And then we realized that access to strong employment services would be one of the biggest helps to avoid further involvement in the justice system. So this data basically helps us to understand and tailor our services to the needs of the justice-involved individuals in our care and custody. So we have several new programs that we've put in place based upon that, some new initiatives, which includes employee readiness programs. We do have a personal finance and debt recovery class that we have our inmates participate in, which is there's a waiting list a mile long for it. Once one individual takes the class, the word spreads really quick that it was one of the most valuable resources that we offer. We do our financial literacy class, which is a fantastic one, and really much more. But the goal at the end of the day, we're investing more now in reentry staff than we've ever done. And we're also looking to enter into more public-private partnerships that help provide justice-involved individuals with a stable landing pad on their release. And as of today, and it may have changed because my director of reentry services works on a day-to-day basis, but as of today that I know of, we have at least 55 CORI-friendly employers ready, willing, and able to hire a justice-involved individual upon their release based upon our recommendation. And that's how we're tailoring some of our programming to get these men ready to go back into the community so that they could be providing a stable financial environment for their family, for themselves and their family, but also feel as though they're productive members of the community again. They got in a jam to get sentenced into our facility. We're giving them the educational opportunities, the skill set, and the workforce development opportunities to get back out on the street and do great work. One example I just recently hired a retired corrections officer to come back and teach a course in carpentry. He got one of our pre-release inmates to work with, and this gentleman never picked up a skill saw in his life, wasn't a particularly skillful individual when it came to any kind of carpentry work. And it was great to see him down in our Braintree facility. He built a set of stairs, and he was so thrilled of his accomplishment. He realized that he's hopeful now that he can transfer some of those basic skill sets he has into potentially a pre-apprenticeship program with the Carpenters Union, who we have a partnership with. So that's what we're working towards.
Very nice. And it really, without something like that, inevitably these people will reoffend.
Correct. And that's the problem, is that you have men getting out of prison. A lot of times they don't have a place to live. They don't have a job to go do. They have no support mechanism. And we are all just basic human beings with one goal: survival. And if you have no other means of survival techniques, you're going to go after probably criminal activities. And the other problem is we do focus on, and I know I talk about this every month, but mental wellness, mental health issues, as well as substance use disorder issues. So we want to also make sure that not only do they have economic certainty, food security, housing, stability, we also want to make sure that they have access to proper mental health counseling, and access to any kind of counseling relative to substance abuse disorder. With that holistic approach, we're going to see recidivism. That's that rotating door, the revolving door of coming back into the criminal justice system. We want to see that reduced. You know, some people say I'm trying to put myself out of business. If that's the case, so be it. But I think that at the end of the day, we're a public agency that believes in giving back, and that's what we get paid to do, but that's what we live anyways. That's how we want to live our lifestyle, to make sure that we're giving back to our communities of Norfolk County, that we're going to give them back a better product than what we got in the first place, and that's the goal.
Well, our last item, I was going to have you end on a song, but that's not going to happen because of your voice. So instead,
Christmas, next month,
okay.
We'll get it for the
All
holidays.
right, sounds good. You keep us all waiting. We do have a photo of 10 new officers that were part of the Sheriff's Response Team, and this was, I believe, out of Braintree.
Yeah, so we have an elite unit of officers that get called in for various reasons, cell extractions or any kind of crisis issue within the facility, and it takes a very skilled individual to do so. I mean, the number one goal in any of these activities is to de-escalate a very hostile situation. So these individuals go through a series of trainings, weeks of training, to go through all of the ways in which we handle these hostile situations that go on. And I was proud to watch each and every one of these members of the team get graduate and become part of that strategic response team. So congratulations to them. One of the things that we wanted to do when I took over is to make sure that there's opportunities consistently being offered to our staff to better their careers. I mean, a lot of times sheriff's offices are used as kind of a springboard to other activities, whether it's going out to the police departments or fire departments, state police. We wanted to make sure we had a robust employment workforce development program inside the agency that gives opportunities to all of our staff to advance, whether it's our strategic response team, our partnership with Metrolec, putting people out on SWAT teams, embedding them with our partners with the FBI, the Boston Strike Force, the drug enforcement agencies, our drone units, et cetera. We wanted to provide ample opportunities that give our corrections officers and our deputy sheriffs opportunity to enhance their skill set and provide great value to the community. So we're very happy about that, and I'm also happy that I'm promoting. We're going to have a promotional ceremony Friday night as well at Gillette. We just promoted several individuals to lieutenant and captain in our group, and I'm proud to report too, we have another first in the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. We're going to have the promotion of the first female captain in the Sheriff's Office, so I'm very proud of that as well.
Very nice. I'm sure that will make the next program.
We'll get that in.
I want to thank you. Until then, I want to thank you for joining me and discussing the Sheriff's Office today for not only Quincy, but the surrounding towns of Norfolk County.
Absolutely, and don't make sure everybody goes and checks out our programs. NorfolkSheriff.com is our website, and happy to get any feedback from people if they have any ideas that they want us to participate in.
Very good. Well, till next time, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you at home for watching. Please continue to watch your local public access TV station for more community-based information.